Yo, Adam, you seem to be in quite the mood today.
Yeah, Peter, we're talking about Chick Corea today. So, I prefer Chick on a synthesizer.
Really?
Yeah.
I like him on the acoustic.
Yeah, but what about like...
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Music Explored.
Explored. Today, Peter, brought to you by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com for your jazz lesson needs.
Hold on, I want to write that down.
Open Studio.
Actually, I do want to go there because you have a little thing called Harmony Games over there. Well, I'm going to write that down too.
Harmony Games Unlimited.
Unlimited. Yeah, sorry, I wanted to add that.
Unlimited. That's an important bit of it.
New lesson every week.
New lesson, every single Monday we release a brand new harmony game, not unlike your jazz piano method, which is a new lesson every Friday.
Sue us. We like to do things once a week.
Don't sue us. But we're having a great time over there at the harmony games. Mm-hmm. It's a guided practice session with our trio, and we're just working on like simple triadic pop songs. A lot of fun.
Nice. Fun fact, totally unrelated to what you just said or what we're about to talk about. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I thought this was turmeric tea. It's not.
What is it?
Turmeric. I was just told by my friend, the barista down the street. Turmeric.
Huh. So Chick Corea, Peter, has a long and storied history with different trios.
Yes.
Today we're talking about one of the most storied trios. That was really fun to play a little Gotta Match. Give it up for Caleb Kirby and Bob DeBoo on the bass
That was fun.
Today. That was super fun.
I hit about 88% of the notes on that hit. Man, I might have hit 90%.
There's a lot of notes.
It's a lot of notes.
So we're going to get into that.
Noteworthy. I hadn't played that since the 80s, since I had hair. A lot of hair. Since I used to go to the hair parlor.
Cool. Caleb, can we put a picture of Peter with some hair up there, please? Thank you. So this episode, we're going to be working on, listening to, talking about, breaking down the Chick Corea Electric Band. Yeah. This is kind of out of what we usually do, Peter. We haven't done any sort of like real fusion-y. I mean, we've done all the Herbie stuff in the 70s. and
Weather Report. We got to get to some Weather.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, I think we listened to Heavy Weather once. Yep. We could definitely get back to that album. But we haven't done some like straight-up 80s fusion ever.
Right.
And I know there's a lot of electric band heads out there.
Yeah.
Weckl heads and Chick heads who are probably going to be excited about this. But it's funny because this really... this album is so different. It was such a departure at the time, and we'll talk about how dated or undated it seems.
Right.
I feel like I know where we're going to go with that. So just to set the stage a little bit with Chick himself. So Chick started his career, of course, playing more straight-ahead music, and when he was young, he was recording with a bunch of different musicians in 1962, 1963, 1964. Here's a little bit of Chick with Sonny Stitt on Sonny Stitt Goes Latin. This is Autumn Leaves from 1963. Just 23 years old here. Hey.
I mean, I can hear Chick killing it on the but he's so sublimated in the mix. Dang.
He doesn't. I mean, he
didn't tip the mixing engineer, did he?
No, he did not. This was, he's very subtle in the first couple albums that I could find on him. Now, of course, he starts gaining some recognition, and he really comes to sort of the national and international jazz stage playing with Miles Davis.
Yes.
In Miles' late 60s groups and early 70s group, famously like Bitches Brew and On the Corner and stuff like that. But
I believe, excuse me for interloping, but I believe a little earlier than that even. Now, I could be thinking of Keytar. I'd ever heard of him, but I think it was Chick Corea. First played with Miles subbing for Herbie Hancock when Herbie got married and was on his honeymoon in Brazil.
I feel like that's correct.
Which would have been, I don't know, like 65, 66, I don't know, 64.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been right when Chick was sort of coming up and making a real name for herself.
Yep.
So he's on all of those, like In a Silent Way, and like I said, Bitches Brew. But this is, I love this album. We should cover this period of Miles at some point. You know, we really should hit In a Silent Way and Bitches Brew and Feast the Kilimanjaro.
Yes.
And this is Frelin Brunn. Chick is only on a couple of tracks on this, and he's playing the RMI, which I think is Rocky Mountain Instruments.
Oh, wow.
Electra piano. So this is like, it's not a Fender Rhodes, it's not a Wurlitzer, it's an RMI Electra piano. And again, we're getting into leading up to some fusion thing. He's doing straight ahead stuff this whole time as well. So this is 1968. This is the year before Now He Sings, Now He Sings.
Oh, great record. It's a great record. Feast the Kilimanjaro. It's a great record.
So that's 1968. Feast the Kilimanjaro. Feast.
I think it's, you're saying it with such confidence, I'm feeling like I should, I always thought it was
Filet? Phyllis. I mean, I would say Phyllis de
I don't know if that's the proper
Kilimanjaro. Phyllis de Kilimanjaro.
Okay, Kilimanjaro, that we know.
Kilimanjaro.
Duh, we know. Fees.
Day.
Fees.
Or
de,
D.
Duh. De Kilimanjaro.
Feliz.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, next up, we've got Light as a Feather. This is Chick Corea with Return to Forever.
Woo!
And this is Your Everything. Yeah. We're straight up in the fusion, 70s fusion.
This is just 5 years later.
Yeah. 1973.
Oh. Oh.
In my life, nothing seems so right as to be with you, and when I'm with you, I always sing, you're everything.
Oh.
And as time goes by, floating like a bird.
Oh. Vibrato?
Am I even songbirds.
Does he have a volume pedal on that Rhodes? He's got to.
I think he's using the...
Man, it's so effective.
You're everything.
Okay, Chick on the Rhodes. Come on, man. It doesn't get any better.
Well, you haven't heard the DX7 yet.
Well, we're going to talk. I mean, Chick is a master of the Fender, right? He was already then. And I mean, I got to hear him play it live. Like, he really, like the nuances of that instrument. You talk about Joe Zawinul, George Duke, Herbie, of course, Stevie Wonder. But I mean, Chick had a special relationship.
I agree.
I mean, like, and he was a great accompanist of vocalist. Great arranger. Like that rubato stuff. Like, I got to hear him live. A number of times with Bobby McFerrin duo, like such a Chick Corea par excellence accompanist for vocalists in a rubato situation with, oh man, stretching out harmonically. Come on.
Come on. Well,
Let's stay with this.
I love the 70s, and we
Can we stop in the 70s?
we cover so much music in the 70s, Peter, that I wanted to go to the 80s today. Because we haven't touched on a lot of stuff on the 80s. We've talked about Black Coats from the Underground, but I think that's about it.
No,
honestly, I think that's
really?
the only 80s album we've ever talked about.
I know a good one we got to do. I'm writing it down. I got a great one. And it's, you know what? It's by a gentleman we've already listened to today named Miles Davis. Miles Dewey Davis from the 80s.
You talking about Tutu?
No, that's not. Don't sleep on
I
Tutu.
love Tutu.
It's not that. But anyway, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
But this is, you're right. Like, this is an important, like, if we're going to have 5 most important jazz records of the 80s, or even 3 most important,
It's got to be in the
It's got to be in there. And that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, so he spends the rest of the 70s. Here's what I love about the 70s, though. Like Chick, Herbie, Keith, they're all making all of these weird albums and then straight ahead albums and beautiful solo piano albums. McCoy, too. And then they'll make like, you know, Chick makes like the Mad Hatter, this like concept album with strings and all this great stuff. And and then in 1986, he hooks up with 2 younger musicians, Dave Weckl and John Patittucci, and they do a
Much
bit
younger.
of a much younger. I think they're about 24, when they first start playing with Chick. And they go on a world tour in an acoustic band setting, but it's the birth of this Electric Band album. And, you know, Chick was always so on the cutting edge of technology. Yeah. You mentioned the Rhodes, but throughout the 70s and the 80s, Chick and Herbie were always experimenting with different new technologies that were occurring in music.
Synthesizers.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember the mid-80s, Peter, but synthesizers were a big deal. Specifically, you know, FM synthesizers, the DX7 sort of dominates that mid-80s time period.
Can I get my cartridge?
You want that E cartridge. It's important. And I think he's got some compatriots here with Patittucci and Weckl, because, you know, on this album, Weckl's playing some electronic drums. He's doing some drum programming. And, I mean, Chick's on the Electric Band album, his synthesizer lineup is just incredible. He must have been made a deal with Yamaha. So a Fender Rhodes electric piano that's midied to a Yamaha TX816 rack mount synthesizer on some tracks. The Yamaha KX88 MIDI keyboard. The Yamaha TX816 rack mount synthesizer.
It's like they had to have the model numbers for every one.
The Fairlight CMI, the Synclavier, the Lin 9000, which is a drum machine. The
Synclavier was a hip, like I remember playing on one of those one time. That was a hip situation. George Duke used to play it.
Speaking of hip, he's playing the Yamaha KX5 keytar synthesizer.
The KX5!
The Yamaha TX816 rack mount synthesizers on that. A Mini Moog, a Yamaha GS1, a Yamaha DX7, Yamaha TX816 rack mount synthesizers for that, and the gong.
Just went old school with the gong. If all else fails, if the electricity goes out, he could just be like, goom.
Isn't that crazy?
And there's no piano on this record, is there? Acoustic.
I don't believe there is.
I don't think there is,
So
there's some piano adjacent sounds on the DX7.
I want you to picture it.
Yes.
It's 1986.
Yes, I was 15.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Is in the ether.
Yeah.
There's a lot of earnest synthesizer music happening.
That's right.
Miami
Tequila
Vice.
Sunrise, one of my favorite movies, is about to come out. It hadn't come out yet.
You got soundtracks for like Miami Vice, for Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. And we're really getting into that really crystal DX7-ish period.
Oh, I thought you were going to say crystal something else. I'm like, no, that was later.
Yeah, it was later. And I have one question, Peter. After setting the stage, which is, are you ready to rumble?
Hello, 1986.
This ain't Axel Foley.
Well, kind of. Lynn drums there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, schlapper. Hey.
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 It's so killing, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
There's a lot of harmony being suggested by these lines.
No bass on this one.
Oh, right. That's right. But what's the...
I think it's programmed.
Oh, it's wrong. What would you call this groove? What would you call this groove?
What do I call this? I would call this... It's got to start with neon, whatever the name of the group is, right?
Neon pentatonic blues scale. Oh, that's the harmony.
Neon Miami Nights.
Sweon. Swampy neon. Okay. This is the first track, right?
Yeah, so this is the first track of the original release.
original, right.
So on Spotify now, there's another
Like a
short
little
track
short, yeah.
beforehand, yeah, that came out later.
Now that's Chick. Whoa. Okay. I'm tired. Can I have a cigarette, please?
Now imagine that
I have a cool?
you're just chilling with your girl.
No.
Light a candle, romantic candle, put on a little rumble.
Let's get ready to rumble.
It is not the most romantic music in the world. It is.
no.
It is not.
I mean, it's really like
It's a vibe, but-
and if you're trying to like think about,
Although, if you got a girl that's into that, maybe keep her.
yeah, I mean, it's a musician. It's a musician. I mean, it's such a tour de force to start out the record. It is a little bit like, where does it go from here? But I mean, Weckl just, it's an understatement to say he has great technique, but he has great imagination within that too. And it's like, I mean, to me, the Lynn drums, the Simmons drums, like of that period, like it takes a little bit away from like the humanity of, and I don't just mean because it's just so early in that kind of game.
It
I
is.
think Weckl had a great concept on it though. I mean, it's amazing what he's playing. I love hearing him just playing on drums on a little bit loud, but I mean, it's like they're really exploring the possibilities on this for sure.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Next up is Sidewalk, which I believe is also just duo. Could be wrong about that. There might be some guitar on this actually.
mean, that's a lot right there.
Oh yeah, this will feature Carlos Rios on guitar.
Oh.
There he is.
Damn.
It's a lot, man.
Yeah.
This album is a lot. And it's not even, for me, it's not even like the synths, but the style of playing that Chick and Dave Weckl are doing to set up this album is very, very maximalist. There's a lot happening. There's always like every beat is filled
it's intense.
with something.
It's dense.
And then I think what Dave Weckl adds to any situation that he's ever played in is this like incredibly crisp, bright drum sound. And like these fills that just like pop
precision,
at the end.
Precision
fills.
The
fills that pop at the end of phrases. You really didn't hear a lot before him. I mean, another thing you listen to this is like, you know, if you're thinking like that sounds dated or this is how everything sounds, whatever, like not much sounded like this at the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
this was kind of a revolutionary kind of like thing. I mean, I think in LA there was definitely a group of musicians playing kind of like this. I mean, Chick was in LA at the time. I was living in LA then. I mean, it did evolve from something. It didn't just come from nowhere.
100%.
But in terms of like everybody else kind of hearing it. New York too, there was a scene of this.
But Chick putting his Chick thing on it.
Exactly.
And
like organizing it.
Yeah.
Codifying it.
Yeah, it's been this particular like I think this record and the follow-up albums have been just copied to hell by
Yes,
so
and
many.
stage banded out.
Totally
Oh my
stage
God.
banded out. Every fusion guitarist can play Got a
Yeah.
Match at 450 BPM.
Right. I
these
wonder if
days.
that's ever been played at Berklee College of Music.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
We should introduce it. Okay, you brought up an important point, and I'd already written that word down. We have to. It's a little bit the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Dated. Is this a dated album? Is this a dated sound? Because that was my first thing in listening to this again, and it took me back to. I remember when this record came out. Obviously, didn't feel dated at the time, but how has it aged?
Do you want to do this now?
Sorry. Oh, did you? Was this in the notes for later?
I have some quibble bits about this, but
Okay.
yeah, we could do this now.
No. Okay. Well, sorry. Then your quibble bit later can be me preempting your.
No. Let's talk about it. So
Because it's obviously it's a very 80s sound. Like I love records that sound like they're from the place,
yes,
the city, the time that they're from. I mean, like I don't need some hipsters playing like French guitar gypsy jazz from the 30s today and trying to make it sound, bad fidelity and like, you know what I mean? That's fine, no problem. But I mean, like this is very authentic to me. So yes, it's dated in the sense of like, oh, that's 80s. But why would we say, why is stuff from the 80s more dated than from the 90s or 70s? Because we do have a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction. I think, and I've got some ideas on it, but
do you think that Headhunters is dated?
no. Yeah, I mean, dated, yes, good dated.
But that's an album from the 1970s.
Yes.
Or do you?
No,
Because
totally.
it could be ripped off from the 90s and from today.
Well, yeah, and it's hard because any of these records, we know them so well. Somebody could make stuff that sounds like
Somebody
this.
is. Yeah, there
Somebody
are plenty
is,
of.
yeah.
I mean, producer Caleb was like, yeah, some of this sounds kind of like Thundercat when you hear him live,
Yeah, yeah.
And that's like legit,
That's what it is. I think musically and stuff, there was a lot of innovation here. There was a lot of cutting edge stuff. I think the dated part of it is that, like, so there's that freshness, even in hearing again, like the way Weckl plays stuff, because he's probably, like, from a technical standpoint, not even a technical, just like he's one of the most influential drummers of
sure.
that generation
Yeah.
for like the next. I mean, every drummer at this time.
For kids out there,
Oh
you
my
have
God,
no
was-
idea how
the
much
posters on the wall,
Yeah, he
yeah.
was such a drum hero.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, early 90s,
Yeah.
all the way up to the 2000s.
Still today. I mean,
Still
people that
today,
came
for
up
sure.
under him love him.
But
man.
that when he was young and here coming out of Chick's bands, I mean, everybody was trying to play like
Yeah.
him in the early 90s.
But I do think there's certain periods where the technology is pushing ahead of like our ability as musicians to really harness it into like the organic flow of how we organize our output. I think sometimes hits in different periods where it ends up sounding dated because like those Lynn drums, those Simmons drums, there was another one, like they were so new. We get excited as musicians, like, oh, we're going to use them on everything. And we haven't quite figured it out.
Yeah.
Outside of a few things. And I mean, not that didn't happen in the 70s with synthesizers, but those synthesizers, like all of a sudden it's like you got the keytar, you've got the DX, it's like there's so many different sounds and stuff. And look, Chick is killing it on these instruments. But to me, I loved his stuff, even in the 70s, like his acoustic piano playing, his Rhodes playing, these instruments where there's more guardrail. It's like when you take off all the guardrails,
it
takes us a little bit of a time maybe to catch up. So you end up falling into this like a little bit of a dated sound, perhaps.
I don't know. I'm going to push back a little bit.
Okay.
So why is a Fender Rhodes in the 70s more timeless than a DX7 in the 80s, right?
I think that because the acceleration of the technology in the 80s with all these other keyboards was so much faster than the Rhodes. Like the Rhodes, like that. This was more revolutionary, whereas the Rhodes is more evolutionary, coming out of the Wurlitzer, coming out of the acoustic piano. It's still like it's kind of still an acoustic instrument in a way, And so like once you were able to have synthesizers, which of course they had before we had all the great discussion about Tonto on the Stevie stuff, Stevie Wonder. I mean, certain people are just able to like put those guardrails up themselves. I would say this is a record. And look, records without guardrails are really fun and awesome. Like, and to me, that's the celebration. It's like you meet the record at where it is. If you're going into this to try to hear Chick's most swinging lines, although he actually does do them, but it's going to be on a keytar.
That's
it's gonna
the
be,
thing.
But you're not going to hear it in the same way as you hear it on Matrix. You know what I mean? You're not going to hear it the same way as, which was not that far before this when he did the two piano double album. I mean, the two piano record with Herbie Hancock, which I think is some of his most amazing playing. And so it's like, you meet this record where it is, and it's like kind of Chick goes crazy at Guitar Center with Dave Weckl like egging him on, and it's an amazing thing to hear.
I think what you're hinting at, which I think is probably a legitimate point, is that does the technology sort of take over the album rather than the music?
Right.
And I think you could make a case that with all the programming and the kind of technology, and like you said, it's a very specific zone
Yeah.
of new digital music technology.
And we talk about that too, because that's a big part of this GRP Records, the digital master, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like,
That
it's a
it
digital sound.
it might just be a little too heavy-handed in retrospect.
Yeah.
It might just be like a little too much of like, sometimes we'll hear Nirvana from the 90s and you're like, oh my gosh, this sounds incredible. Always, it's just this classic sound.
Yeah.
But then you hear some bands that were like in that grunge scene, you're like, oh boy, that
Yeah.
sounds really 90s. Like they don't
Yeah.
make music like that anymore. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so I see what you're saying, where like the production might have taken over.
And I wouldn't say it's taken over. It's just very like you used the word maximalist. That's what I was like. They're pushing everything. They're pushing the number of instruments, the editing on this, the digital editing.
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
can just hear like they've got everything like lined up, the programming and stuff. And it's not a bad thing. It's just it does like date it in a certain way. And to me, I mean, look, Chick Corea was such an amazing musician, such a big influence on us. I know our whole generation of not only pianists, just musicians. I mean, I can't overstate that. So it's like, it's not every one of his records should be the same. Like, this is not my favorite record of Chick Corea, but like, this is not like a throwaway thing of Chick Corea. Like, and for me going back into this, because like I was so, the other thing is like, how do we experience a record? Because when this record came out, it was like a year after Black Codes from the Underground, which I was really into because I love Kenny Kirkland. I mean, I love Branford and that whole thing. And then this was like so different. And then J Mood from Wynton Marsalis came out the same year. And so I was very much into that, like, my guardrails are, I'm a neoclassicist.
That's how you used to talk
Acoustic
back in the day,
jazz
too. Yeah.
player.
That's how Peter would talk in 1986, yeah.
Because I was young and I was like dogmatic and stuff.
Yeah.
But I listened to this and I liked it. And I
Well-
met Dave Weckl when I was in high school. He came to my high school to do a clinic, because
But can I just say,
Yeah.
although I think all of what we were just talking about is true, and I really like it.
I know.
I really
totally.
like it. I like it. It's a vibe that takes me to the mid 80s, and I
Totally.
like it. And I
So
think there's
that's-
nothing wrong with that.
So that is dated.
Yeah.
But dated is not a bad thing. So I would say the same thing for the Headhunters. It's like, yes, that's dated. But good. Sue me. I love the 70s. Sue me. I love the 80s. It's just the 80s musically and with the instruments and stuff had a certain kind of thing happening.
Let's move on to the next track. This
Weren't you
is
born in the 80s, though? You barely knew the 80s.
I barely
You didn't
knew the
grow up in the
70s. No, I knew the 80s. I was around. This is Cool Weasel.
You were born in the 70s?
1978. We've talked about it before. How do you
so-
not know?
Hey, my name's Peter.
You're supposed to be my friend and know my birthday. Here's Cool Weasel.
78? Damn, you're old. Okay, let's go. Cool Weasel. What's it called? Yeah, there's some good names on this. Cool Weasel Boogie. Oh, this could totally be Eddie Murphy, like, looking around.
I know. This is, again, Carlos
Beverly
Rios
Hills
on
Cop.
this. And John Patittucci
Patittucci.
on the Pullman acoustic double bass.
They even have the brand name for the...
Pullman.
There's a couple tracks with acoustic bass on this record. I forgot. Woo! That's the Rhodes, right? It's gotta be. Patittucci is laying it down. And Weckl too, man.
It's great, dude. It's
Man,
great.
Chick Corea's
It's so
harmonic
great.
mind is so like, so interesting. Think Dave Weckl knows how to make a correct hit off of a chart or not on a chart? Not a problem for him.
Crispy hits.
But accurate too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Like you can trust him. Oh, that's a DX7 right there. I mean, it's just Chick had so much available to him during this time. It's like, and his musical mind, like he couldn't help himself. Counter lines.
Weasel Boogie.
So good.
Again, Carlos Rios, John Patittucci on the Pullman acoustic double bass, and Dave Weckl.
I mean, Weckl and
On the
Patittucci
drums.
are like, that obviously is more than just a solid rhythm section, but what you hear on there, and I'm sure there was some editing, whatever, but that it wouldn't have mattered if they hadn't edited anything. Like, they can lay that down. Like, Patittucci, like, everything, I dare say everything was perfect that he played, but I think it was on that. And it's simple. It seems simple.
Yeah.
Boo-doo-dee-boo-dee-doo. And then you're like, but to just play that, and then anything he adds in is right. And Weckl, I mean, it's just like very high level playing.
Very, very high level.
Execution, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, both Dave Weckl and John Patittucci at this time are just, man.
They were
they're
young.
Just young monsters, too.
Yeah.
Just really great. I just actually this morning was telling...
Yeah, they're mid-20s.
There's a bunch of Dave Weckl lore around here in the St. Louis region
Yeah.
where we are because he's from this area. And I was just...
Shout out Parkway West
I was
High School.
just talking with someone who's I think about his age or maybe a little bit older today, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember him in high school, and he was just like that, like then. He just sounds just like he was just kind of came out.
He had it. He had
fully formed like that. So okay, well, this leads us to now what is kind of the track probably people think about.
The pièce de résistance.
Well, if you say so. But this has got a match, and this is featuring Dave Weckl and John Patittucci. Almost as clean as ours.
This is a minor blues, my friend. Did you know that? 4. Six, 16 bars. Patittucci's early on every one of those lines. I remember seeing them play this live, this trio. But later, I think like early 90s. Yeah. Damn, Chick.
And it's relentless.
All single lines too, right? Ascending whole steps chromatically.
I love a single line
Yeah.
solo. It frees up so much for the
Chick
drums.
was great at it. Herbie was great at it. How do you like the swing? Well, we're going to talk about the swing.
Things are about to pop off right now, though. You got to know that, right? Things are about to get wild.
Really?
Hey.
Little Bee Gees. Backgrounds. I mean, obviously Jocko inspired, but very like already Patittucci's stuff. You know?
That is a bass, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, now
Looking forward.
Calm down, Chick.
Yeah, I know. It's just like. Would cocaine have like, no, not been used? No, I'm saying I've never done that, but would that have heightened this, or would that push you over the edge?
Tell us more about your drug.
I've been around people that were partaking. I don't think that would be a combustible combination. This and cocaine.
I have another question. Was this track produced for this very scenario of just two musicians
Yes.
making faces?
Well, it is just so. It's so adventurous and clean and like, you know, like, well, it's just, I don't know. It's so well executed.
Oh, this is my fave.
This was an influential solo.
Crazy. Hey.
Soli section. That's some Billy Cobham influence stuff there. I mean, yeah, it's.
That's crazy.
This doesn't sound like it was edited. It might have been.
That's crazy.
But they've got this like, this whole track.
I gotta go practice.
Yeah, no. Part of the success for this is it just sounds like they may have edited a bunch of stuff. Who knows? But I saw them do this live, so they didn't need to. It is music that makes you want to go practice, right? But it makes you pissed off a little bit. Is that a good feeling there?
Tell me more about being pissed off.
Well, no, it could make. It's relentless. It's relentlessly well executed.
Yeah.
Oh. But it doesn't feel automated as well executed.
It's actually not perfect.
No, it's
which
not.
Which makes it great.
I mean,
It's damn close.
Damn
It's as
close.
close as you're gonna get, but it
they
actually,
went back and like edited. They did the opposite of like edit and fix. They edited to make it not perfect, so people be like, you got to make it believable.
Come on now.
Now, that's dated Sonic, that ending.
Woo!
But so was a fade out. So okay, so Is that too clean? Is
What?
That, okay, we're gonna get to that. No. I mean, that's damn. It's just a lot, though.
It was definitely made. I think
It's a lot.
when they were in the studio, they were like, because they were technologists, and I think they were like, seeing into the future, I feel like there's going to be a medium where just people talk about. They sit around and they just talk about the music we're going to make. Let's make something for those people
They're
to
going
just
to
geek out on.
sitting in a pod,
broadcasting.
I don't know. We'll come up with the name later, but yeah, it is. Now, is that like just an awesome meal where there's too many calories in it, though? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this dish is so great. You're at the restaurant.
Say more.
I'm full. Like, it's almost like you get too full listening to that.
It's it's not a big slice of chocolate cake, but it's like a.
It's like a beautiful, cacio e pepe, but it's like a huge bowl of it. And
it might be a family-sized bowl of Skittles. You know what I mean?
Well, no, but it's got substance to it. It's got protein. It's got not
Okay,
protein.
well,
You know
so
what I'm saying? Like it's not just candy.
It's
I don't
a
think.
steak with Skittles on it.
Maybe so. I don't know. It's great, but I mean, yeah, we're gonna get to that. All right, what else you got?
We got Electric City.
Can I take any more?
It doesn't let up.
Oh, this is hardcore.
I know.
Oh, God.
It doesn't let up. This is my jam, though. I love this one.
It is.
This is great. Now, this is Axel Foley going to check out the warehouse with the coffee grounds.
Yeah, how did they not get the gig for that? Beverly Hills Cop 2, something? Even the last one that just came out? That was horrible. I love Supreme. I love Supreme. I love Supreme.
Hey. Let's do it.
What would you call this groove? There's some hard to qualify some of these grooves.
I don't know, but it's grooving.
That's a killing sound.
Yeah. It's a great solo. Simmons.
Yeah. It's thick. It's Maximallism.
Yeah, there's really not a 16th note unaccounted for. You know what I mean? Carlos Rios again.
They're like, we want you to play in this section. He's like, where? Man, Chick's mind for like the architecture of these phrases. Man. It's very melodic, but it's like it's got that next level. Take another one. Come on. It's your album. Other trade.
Man, LA in the 80s must have been fun.
Yeah, I'm looking like this track is only like 4 minutes long. The whole track. It feels like it's like 17 minutes of music in there, though. Like they like compress it, digitally compress it, put it on a floppy disk. Compress. That didn't feel like 3 minutes and 45 seconds so far, dude.
This one feels a little dated. This one feels
Now you
like,
say so. That's a very Chick line.
yeah, great Chick. It is the Simmons that dates it a little bit.
Yeah.
Woo! So good.
Oh, man.
All right, I've got one more track, and then we can check out some categories. This is King Cockroach. This features Scott Henderson on the guitar.
Scott Henderson.
This has some serious, like, Domi and JD Beck
Yes.
vibes, this one.
Very much influenced them. Ooh. Tucci. Stanley Patittucci. Killing it.
See what?
Tucci.
I got it.
Got it.
Good joke. So clean. It's so ridiculously clean. Man. Come on now. I love these sounds and the Chick hits because remember watching Chick live and
Yeah.
sometimes he would get into the zone
Yeah.
and just sort of like stare his musicians down
Yeah.
with like a little grin
Right.
and then you just
Yeah.
feel that like
Listeners on the keytar.
yeah. Scott Henderson's killing it. King Cockroach.
I like
okay,
that. I love that track.
Let's get to some categories here.
Yes,
Peter, you got a Desert Island track.
Well, okay, I think this is one of the add-on ones, but it's been there for a while, which is All Love.
Oh, let's check
like
it out.
I love this. Like I think they recorded this on something else. Might even be one of those bootleg live ones.
Okay.
But to me, like this is the one. Do you have it there on the?
I do. I have it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
It's a real. That might be Sinclair there.
I think that's the Rhodes with the Midi
Really?
going to the rack mount. It's like putting this string pad.
Yeah, maybe. Patittucci. Oh, wait, what's that?
Gorgeous.
I mean, it's, of course, it's harmonies off the tracks. And then we can, when we get to the apex moment.
Off the rails? Off the, what'd you say? Harmonies off the rails?
Harmonies off the tracks.
the rails.
On the tracks, off the rails.
My Desert Island track has definitely got to match. It's just too much fun. It's too much fun.
Yep.
What about your apex moment?
So if you go to about 3 minutes on here, before you started though, this like Chick's solo on this tune, the same thing, All Love, is amazing. And Patittucci, shout out John Patittucci.
Oh my gosh.
Man,
Come on the show, John
Come on the show.
Patittucci,
No,
please.
friend, I saw John recently, man, one of the sweetest guys in music, one of the best bass players. Obviously,
Absolutely.
I'm not coming up with any genius right there.
Yeah, great insight
But I
there.
mean, you
Of course.
Lester Holt called, news alert. NBC.
Yeah, newsflash. John Patittucci's good at the bass.
But I mean, he's just the consummate professional, but just so much soul on the instrument. I love him on the electric, on the acoustic. But I love this solo on here, and I think it's interesting placement on this record where it's just everybody's going. I mean, it's such a Weckl and Corea driven record, obviously. But this solo, to me, he wins the record. And this is right after a great solo from Chick.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, it's go listen to it, check it out, see what you think of it. But it's just a lot of humanity and like
so good.
Pushing and pulling is very different than a lot of the rest of this record. But
my apex moment was that Dave Weckl solo on "Gotta Match" that we just listened to. I think that's the highlight of the album for me.
Yeah.
What about a bespoke Spotify playlist title?
Okay, I'm going with the Michelle Pfeiffer 80s vibe.
That's the name of the playlist.
Yes.
And I'm assuming there's a picture of Michelle Pfeiffer from Scarface.
Well, maybe even a little. I'm thinking like Tequila Sunrise.
Oh, great.
Which is right around this time.
Good
I don't know.
call.
Just the way this sounds, it really makes me think of like her in this period, those movies, maybe Mel Gibson. I don't think we can talk about him anymore, though. Is he? Nah. Anyway, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Say more.
80s vibe. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. I have a few here. I have.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. On that playlist would be a little Sanborn.
Of course.
A little bit of, a little Axel F.
Little
We'll throw
Bob
that in 'cause
James,
you got
probably.
Bob James,
Yeah,
of course.
You got it. I have three. I have Midi Bop.
Midi Bop. Like
Midi Bop.
Yeah.
I have Guitar Hero.
Yeah. Keytar Hero.
Guitar Hero.
Got it.
And I have Yamaha Swing.
Right. Oh, I got one
So
more.
many Yamahas on this album.
Oh, my God. It's I got one more. Cocaine Cowboy. No, I can't do that.
Edit that out. Okay.
Okay.
Up next,
Leave it
what
in.
other albums pair with this album?
Okay. I've got, I don't even know if it was on the whole album. I think it was just a track, but he had some good stuff. Jan Hammer. Jan Hammer. On Miami Vice.
Great soundtrack.
Yeah.
I had that tape. It's killing.
Yeah. Also, right around this time, maybe a year before, I think it was the year before, Dream of Blue Turtles.
Yeah.
Sting. Very much, I would put that record stylistically,
Interesting.
some of that stuff close with this, with Omar Hakim, Daryl Jones, of course, Kenny Kirkland.
Yeah, interesting
And it's got a
choice.
lot of connections for me during
I like
that time.
that.
And
I
also
like that.
Wynton Marsalis's J-Mood, same year.
I have anything by Dream Theater, especially early Dream Theater, because this has a rock flair to it.
Yeah.
And they certainly have that sort of rock fusion vibe.
I'm going to push back a little on, explain just a little bit of this, because I heard people talking about this record and researching this where they're like, yeah, this is really this is not a fusion album. This is a rock jazz album.
People say that.
But what makes it rock?
Well, some of those guitar tones that Carlos Rios, is playing on some of those melodies. Maybe, it's definitely not like rock. It's
Right.
definitely
Is that
jazz tinged rock. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, if you listen to Rumble.
But what kind of, rock at the time, I don't know. I guess my
I
rock
agree.
chops aren't up.
Maybe it's aggressive. I don't know. I
Yeah.
agree with you. This is not
It's definitely
AC/DC.
aggressive. Yeah. Back in Black!
I also have, which I've alluded to before, the Beverly Hills Cop
Hillbillies.
soundtrack. What?
Oh, okay. Beverly Hills Hillbilly.
Quibble Bits. We already talked about not exactly timeless. It's not exactly timeless. It's very timeful in that it is very 80s sounding, and
yeah,
that makes
but
sense.
when was it made?
I
Mid-80s.
have another Quibble bit, and this is with sort of the style
this
of composition and playing itself, which is just like, and we alluded to this too, like the vibes are very bro-y. You know what I mean? It's very...
Well, go ahead and say the word you have here.
I have brosif. It feels very jockish.
Yeah. It's aggressive.
It's aggressive.
It's what would be associated with bro culture at the time, which is not a bad thing, but it's
Many a collar was popped.
Yes. Is this a little bit of a aggressive preppy? Like
That's what I'm thinking.
a Duke lacrosse player with like
Careful.
a Walkman on, listening to this. Get out of my way with his lacrosse
We
stick.
love you, Duke University.
Shout out Duke.
Hey.
Man. My mom went to Duke.
Christian Leitner.
My mom literally. My grandfather taught at Duke, so don't
okay.
flame me. No, but you know what I'm saying. It
do.
is a little bit of that.
Yeah, there's everything is always the balance of the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah.
And this one might be a bit out of balance.
Yeah, a little bit. My only quibble bits on this is it too clean? Is it like too perfectly executed? Like you can't say that's because this style needs that, and these were the masters of that.
I
you
don't
talk
think
about-
so. When we listened to God and Match there were some like
That was not,
ooh, and that
a little
really
bit.
makes it like it takes
But
it away
but that's
from
the only
being-
track that's like that, and maybe that's because they're swinging on it. But it's like, is there enough stank? Like, there's not a lot of backbeats on this. Not that you need that, and when they go to it, it's not like it's weird because it's like in the pocket, but it's not. It's fusion pocket, I guess. I don't know.
It is a little bit of the opposite of the sort of Herbie run that we talked about.
Yeah.
Where you just feel that earthiness.
And it's just different.
everywhere.
It's like personal preference. So this is not like a knock on this because I think the way they're playing fits this music. It fits Chick's conception, and like he got everybody to buy. He got the right cats to do it. But to me, there's maybe not quite enough stank on it.
Yeah.
But that's a quibble bit.
That is a quibble bit. You could quibble too with I think some of the why did he go all in on the Yamaha sounds?
Right, he was so
there
brand.
were other options.
He,
back
he was
then,
not brand agnostic.
But
There's other brands.
I kind of
available.
dig it actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so Snobometer. How snobby
He
is
pulled up
this?
to the session in a Yamaha motorcycle with like a Yamaha receiver. He was all in on the Yamaha.
motorcycle.
Yeah,
And he's like, guys, I just got a new chainsaw.
Yamaha.
Yamaha TX86.
I'm in.
Yeah. Okay.
Snobometer. What do you got?
I got a 6. I feel like it is because it's got some. I mean, it could be a 9, honestly.
I mean, it's either I don't know. I put 7, but now that I'm thinking, it's either a 1 or a 10, maybe though, right?
It could be a 10.
It could be a
It's
10.
definitely not a 1. This is a snobby album.
It is a snobby album.
There is no. If we, my Aunt Linda's not liking this.
She's not liking
I'm
it.
telling you.
So it's not a rock album. That's what I'm saying. This is not like a pop sellout
No.
kind of rock. I mean, not that rock is. I don't
No,
know.
not at all.
Okay. Is it better than KOB?
Well, no.
No. Accoutrement.
I got 10 out of 10. Buddy, this cover.
It's a great cover.
It looks like how the music sounds.
But this is what I'm going to say.
they crushed this cover.
I look
don't-
what I put on here. I put either 1 or 10.
No, that's a 10.
Well, I've got
you're
10.
out
but
of your mind. It's
I
a
could make
10.
an argument for 1. It's literally a neon sign, like in a dive bar in 1986. Like
You're telling
down on
me-
Laclede's Landing. Shout
telling me-
out Laclede's Landing.
And I know I've seen people with this T-shirt of this album. You got a black T-shirt like that with this logo on it. I'm wearing it every day of the week. It looks
well,
great.
I will tell. Depending on the day of the week, I'll give you a 1 or a 10.
Okay.
All right.
That's really all we got. Hey, listen, folks, we read your comments here on the air. So please
Hells
leave
yeah, we
us
do.
a comment either on Spotify, on YouTube. You could also leave us a rating and review over on your podcast
You're
app.
so political.
Well, yeah, here's a rating and review. 5 stars, and this is on the podcast app. 5 stars, the best jazz content on the internet. Adam and Peter are preeminent players, teachers, and dare I say, jazz musicologists?
Ooh, wait, I'm going to
Please
change my business.
don't
Change my
say
business
that.
card, Caleb.
Don't say that. As of late, the Open Studio team has really stepped up the quality and production value of their video content, highlighting tightly shot explainers, detailed transcriptions, and slick how-tos. Thank you, P. Holman, or
Was that a sandwich
Folman.
complimented there? A little bit.
Maybe.
Compliment sandwich. No, thank you.
Thank
Pete
you.
Holman.
We appreciate it. And so please leave us a rating and review. Leave us a comment on YouTube. We will read your comment.
Yeah. And
Especially
the Nerd
a
Nook.
rating
Is there
and
going to be a
review.
Nerd Nook for this one? We don't know.
Oh, a Nerd Nook for Open Studio members?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking, Peter. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes, we will be going over the melody to Gotta Match for our Open Studio members. If you want to check out the Nerd Nook and see us explaining how that melody works, you can become an Open Studio member today. Click the link in the description
Do a little
or
play out?
the bio.
Yeah.
Let's play out with some full version of Gotta Match.
Full versione. Till next time.
You'll hear it.